All right, good evening, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and today is Wednesday, March 5th, 2014, and this is technical analysis of the stock market today. And our focus today, we're going to talk about the BRIC countries, the BRIC markets, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Of course, Russia has been in the news, and that's been pretty significant. So I thought I'd take a look at all four of these, especially since Wednesday we typically look at China. And I've got four of the Chinese hospitality stocks that I'm going to look at again. We've looked at them before, and it's kind of nice to revisit and see how they're doing. All right, first of all, the Dow Industrials today was down 35 points. There really wasn't a whole lot of action going on today, and I think it's because everybody's a little bit tense. So I think, the tension release that I talked about that we had is now rebuilding. Okay, so we had some tension. Everybody's watching Ukraine. They're trying to figure out what's going on. You sanction me, I'm going to sanction you, and we just don't know where this is going to go. So when you look at the Dow Industrials here, this day, the range was about 60 points, okay? And this is the tightest range of the last 11 days. And now when I go back to the S&P 500, this little range that we had today is the tightest range in the last 44 days, all the way back to here. So this is the narrowest trading range since December 30th. And, what does that mean? Well, what it means is we're getting compression. I've talked about this before. Compression, then it decompresses and expands. Okay, so right now we're getting tight again. We're winding up. So, we're going to get some kind of release. And the real question is, are we going to continue to build tomorrow? And then it pops on Friday with the jobs report. Or is it going to be something related to, international, the Ukraine or something else? But all I can say is that tension's building. All right, let's go ahead and dig in and talk about, let's start with Brazil since we're talking about BRIC. This is what Brazil has done since 2003, last 10 years. So you can see the heck of a bull move that they had as it peaked into early 2008. Got the sell-off with our crash in 2008, which is really what it was. Everybody wants to soft pedal it, but that's what it was. So we bounced back. We've gone sideways, and you can look. Brazil has basically been up and down over the last year, and it's a little bit of a downtrend, trying to get its legs underneath it, but it's still in a downtrend here, coming down to test the lows here of June and July. Now, if we go to Russia, the MISEX index, Russia had a similar. This is why everybody was talking about the emerging markets in the early part of the decade, early to mid-decade last, previous 10 years. This was a heck, and then we got the sell-off, bounce back, gone sideways, and then of course with this action in Ukraine, they basically cracked on Monday. And that was a heck of a move down. You can see, I noticed that sometimes you get these fan lines, and I don't know if I've talked about these or not, but fan lines, you take a point here and you draw a trend line, and then when it breaks, you look for the next trend line point once it gets a rally point off of it, and you draw it again, and then as it becomes more and more that the trend line becomes more and more closer to horizontal, it has the potential to set up for a major break, okay? Because if the trend line has a high angle, then usually you don't get a major break off of a very high angled trend line is what I'm trying to say. So let's look at this point in here. You had like a fan line, another fan line. This fan line broke but bounced back up to this fan line. And then when it came down and broke this line, which was basically horizontal, that's when it really cracked. And so now it's bounced back, and it's compressed in here, and who knows where that's going to go. I mean, it's had a big move. It's kind of like a ball now bouncing back up. Okay, Brazil, Russia, India. India is one of the better looking of the stock markets of the four, actually. It had a big move in the early 2000s up into 2007, 2008. got a sell-off just like everybody else. This has bounced right back up to its high. And I drew this line months ago when I looked at this stock. And you can see in here that it's basically hugging this line, and it's trying to break up through this resistance point. And so India is actually one of the better looking of the 4 stock markets right now. So it'd be kind of interesting to watch and see. I'm not sure. I know there's a handful of technology stocks as ADRs over here. I'm not sure that there's a whole lot. I don't think there's nearly the degree that there is in China, but I'm sure there's an ETF. I'm just not, I don't have the name of it at the tip of my tongue right now. All right, let's look at Shanghai Composite. This is China. We look back to the late 90s into 2000, and then this, screaming bull market from 2005 into 2007, 2 years, basically like a rocket shooting straight up, and of course it came straight back down, and then had the bounce, and now we've had this zigzag overlapping wave sell-off in here, and you can see this downtrend line, and we've talked about it. I think it's trying to rally. It's trying to get its legs underneath it. And remember I talked about a reversal bar last week on Wednesday, a reversal bar in here that maybe it was trying to do something. Well, it has rallied. It's still not a really strong picture. I mean, it's you need to get this blue line curving back up, that 10-day exponential. You need to get to more price action to the upside here. So it's trying to go in the right direction, just not quite there yet. Okay. Those are the 4 indices. Now I'm going to take a look at CTRP real quick. If I can find it. There it is. ctrip.com. Okay, this one, remember a couple weeks ago I had said looks like it was trying to turn down in here, and then it exploded on this big day up. It never pulled back like I was hoping it was going to. It never came back and touched the 10-day exponential. It looks like we've had, we had this correction in here. I think we got an ABC correction. Now we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing pull back a little, like pull back maybe to the 55 in here, or back to the 21-day. Get some kind of a correction, maybe as much as a 50%. That's what I wouldn't be surprised to see that. That's what I'd be kind of looking for, and that might give you an opportunity to get on board, because I think this may be trying to push up for another big move. And the next one is QUNR. Where is it? Here we go. Now this doesn't have a whole lot of trading history. I've talked about this only since November, but it's worth watching. It's getting a lot of activity in here. Now it's almost 1 million shares a day on a 50-day average. Very active. It was up 13% today. It was the biggest move of any of the Chinese stocks that I track. And so it's pretty interesting. I don't really have anything to say in terms of a play. I'd love to see more history develop, but I think it's worth watching. The next one is Home. Where is it? HMIN. There we go. And here's another one that I think it's had this move. I think it's corrected. Actually, these percentages are the correction of this move. So it's actually corrected a little over 50%, right between the 50 and the 61.8%, okay? And now it's bounced up. I think it's trying to push to the upside. So I don't really, that's just the way it looks right now. I'm not saying it's a trade idea. I'd like to see a little bit better setup. But the 10-day has broken above the 21, and the 21 is curving higher, so it is trying to push high. Let's see, and then the last one is Home Inns and Hotels. Now this is one. Actually, that's where I just was. Where is it? I'm looking for China Lodging. That's what it is. China Lodging. Okay, now this is one that. It doesn't have a ton of volume. It's the average 50-day average is like 330-some thousand shares, and it's kind of light on the daily. But this looks pretty bullish to me. It looks like it's trying to push higher. This dotted line is the previous peak. Okay, so it's gotten up here and now it's consolidating. It looks like it wants to push higher. All right, I am not, again, I'm not trading options on this stock. It's just too lightly traded. All right, that's it for today. This has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see what happens in the international arena. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great Thursday.